Hi guys, been a while, but every time there's a new patch, my WoW breaks and I have to re-download it. Oh, it's kind of annoying. So anyway, it's been a new patch that's actually changed some stuff apart from the nice look. So the little icons, that got changed for, it was just cosmetic. There's a lot of icons that have been changed and who cares. So anyway, stuff that has actually changed that will affect us is Flame Strike hits a little bit harder. So with its cooldown, I've got a feeling that Flame Strike is going to be our strongest actual AoE spell. Not cleave, AoE spell. I think Flame Strike is going to be our strongest because it's got this cooldown, it's got this cast time, etc, etc. So I think every time we're actually properly AoE, which will be rare as hell because you always cleave. It's usually just cleave. So Flame Strike will be probably looking to be your #1 spell. So you throw up a Flame Strike and then you either fill it with a Blizzard if you're at range or Arcane Explosion if you're close in. So I think that's how AoE is looking to be working. The next change is Ice Lance damage has been nerfed. I can't show you any of this because it's not, doesn't seem to be active at the moment. But Ice Lance damage has been reduced a little bit, which is probably for the best. So its base damage is down, but it's still doing quadruple damage. So I quite like that. It means if you do an Ice Lance when it's not on a frozen target, it's going to be rubbish, whereas an Ice Lance on a frozen target is going to be good. So I like that because it, you know, it's going to punish you for using Ice Lance at the wrong time. Let's see if this is here. Frost Bomb has changed. Okay, no, it's not active either. Frost Bomb has changed to having a 5-second duration. So because of my haste, it already says 5 seconds. So I could semi show what that would be like, how long it's going to take, and what the cooldown's like and things. So yeah, its duration has changed, but its cooldown stayed the same. So you're still going to be doing Frost Bomb with the same frequency, but now instead of waiting for 100 years for it to actually explode, it's going to do it pretty quick. As you can see, 5 seconds is not a long time, and once you take haste into account, that's going to be blowing up like reasonably often. So I quite like that. The cooldown is dependent on haste as well. So, but it's still going to roughly be the same frequency. Basically, the cooldown is going to, yeah, mincing my words again. So it's gonna blow up sooner, but you're still gonna be doing the same frequency by your haste sort of thing. The cooldown's not changing, just how long it takes to explode. So I think that's quite a good change, because then it's the thing that people were worried about as well. You know, I could put up this Frost Bomb and then shit could die, and then what? You know, so it's a little more forgiving. The next one is Enchanter's Ward's got a change. This one's complex, this one's quite cool. It's basically going to have a passive effect with it as well, so that when Enchanter's Ward is off cooldown, you will gain, where is it again? You'll get 8% spell power and 1% your mana every 2 seconds. Now 1% your mana every 2 seconds is actually quite a lot, so that's going to be, well, 1000 mana. It's pretty much half of the regen that you've got just now, that I have just now anyway. Because my regen is like 5,000, say 5,000 every 5 seconds, so that's about 1,000 every second. So it's about 2,000 every 2 seconds, so it's basically half of my regen on top of that. So Enchanter's Ward is actually going to be reasonably strong from a mana regen perspective, because you also have with it Evocation. You know, so Enchanter's Ward is really good. Has now become like, wow, this could actually change things. You know, because everyone now has been looking at Invocation and Rune of Power. Well, now with this passive thing on Enchanter's Ward, it's like, whoa, this could actually be pretty good. and it's a permanent 8%. So, you know, I think this could be one that could be interesting to have a look at once we get to level 90. Temporal shield, the next change, that can be used while stunned and rooted and all that sort of nonsense, which is, oh god, that's like actually makes temporal shield usable for PvP, I guess. For PvE it doesn't really change much. It's still pretty cool for PvE. It's still going to be your staple of that tier. The next change is brain freeze for frost is, oh yeah, they changed this so I can't actually see it. This kind of sucks. Brain freeze for frost is now going to increase frostfire bolts damage by 25%. Now, if you've watched my frost video, you will realise that frostfire bolt isn't much of a DPS increase over frost bolt when you're doing it instant through brain freeze. So now you have this thing where it's like, okay, it's now a real big increase. It's a big boost. So now it's like, oh cool, I've got a brain freeze, rather than like, okay, I've got a brain freeze, I'll just use it willy-nilly. So because you can only have one brain freeze up at a time, and it's activated from your bomb spells, now it's a case of, it's now got a higher priority than Fingers of Frost. Even though I think Fingers of Frost will still hit harder than brain freeze, it's going to have a higher priority because you don't want to overwrite it. Where Fingers of Frost, you've got this leeway because you can have 2, or if you're glyphed, 3 stacks of ice lash of Fingers of Frost. So Frostfire Bolt Brain Freeze is now, it will now go up in your priority list. It's now way more desirable. The next change is one with Fingers of Frost, which reduces the amount of procs you're going to get from Frost Bolts, Frostfire Bolts, and Frozen Orb and Scorch. The reason why this is good is because it now makes the Fingers of Frost glyph probably not mandatory. If you're in an AoE cleave situation with Frost Orb, it will still be desirable. You will still want Fingers of Frost if you're cleaving and AoEing. So when you chuck up that Frost Orb, even with this nerf, you're still going to get absolute tons of Fingers of Frost, and you're not going to be able to get them all. So on single target you don't want the Fingers of Frost glyph, but on multi-target you do. So it now no longer makes the glyph mandatory regardless, it's just mandatory for cleaving AoE. So that's kind of cool. They've now fixed that. Frozen Orb now grants 1 charge of Fingers of Frost when it reaches its first target. I don't really know why. I don't understand the change, but whatever. The Fire Blast glyph is now actually slightly more interesting as well, and it actually will, like at the moment, what the old one was, it would just spread Living Bomb, but the new one, it's going to interact with each bomb. So with Frost Bomb, the glyph of Fire Blast will make your Frost Bomb instantly explode. That's really good for PvP because you can now have this instant on-demand slow. It's good for PvE because if you're in that cleave AoE situation, then you know, you can say, right, my Frost Bomb's up, but I want it to explode right now. My mobs are up. Or you can be like, okay, my mobs are coming up sometime in the next 5 seconds. I'm going to put up my Frost Bomb. The ads come up after 2 seconds. You're like, right now. So you can now dictate when your Frost Bomb explodes with a lot more precision. So that makes it a lot more useful. It's still going to do the same with Living Bomb, so it's still going to make Living Bomb incredibly strong. And with Nether Tempest, it causes it to fire its secondary damage to all targets. So it now kind of makes Nether Tempest, I don't know. I have to see how that works, because like I say, it doesn't work yet. But what I think is going to happen is it's not going to change sod all, and Nether Tempest is pretty much going to remain unchanged with the Fire Blast glyph. Because the thing is, it says it's going to send all the secondary damage out. So you use your Fire Blast and the secondary damage from Nether Tempest all goes out. It doesn't say anything about the primary damage. So the primary damage is still actually going to be there. So you still can't really refresh it. Oh, actually that could be interesting. Yeah, that's going to happen. I'm going to be testing that in a lot more detail. I've still got to make a video about each of the bombs. So once that glyph change is active, I will then make the video about the bombs, and I will try that out because there's a few interesting things that might be able to happen there. The final change is this one is really damn good. It's a nerf to Spellsteal glyph. Spellsteal glyph was healing you for 10%, so like every time you spent 7k mana and stole a buff, you would get 10k health back, which is actually just ridiculous. It is utterly retarded. Now it's only 3% your maximum health, so it is way better. So now we know Spellsteal ain't gonna get a cooldown. Hey look, I've been disconnected. I love better. So Spellsteal is not gonna get a cooldown. It's just had the glyph nerf. It's still gonna be pretty good, kind of, if you're spamming Spellsteal. That's pretty much it for the changes. So thanks for listening.